5 harsh realities of life after age 80 that every senior should understand. Did anyone ever truly prepare you for what life after 80 would feel like? It's not just about the aches and the medications or the doctor visits. The deeper changes, the emotional shifts, the social silences, the invisible wounds, often hit the hardest. Many people cross into their 80s expecting a slower pace, but instead they find a series of unexpected truths that are difficult to face. This article explores 5 harsh but honest realities of life after age 80. Some might be familiar already, others may surprise you. But they all have one thing in common: they shape the way we experience aging in powerful ways. And once we name these truths, we can start to find clarity, peace, and even renewed purpose. Let's dive in. 1. The shrinking world of social connection. One of the first changes that becomes painfully clear in your 80s is how your social world begins to shrink. You might still get the occasional call or a few visitors here and there, but the frequency is different. And more than that, the feeling is different. Conversations that once felt natural now feel more distant. Longtime friends may have moved away, fallen ill, or passed on. Family members become busy with their own lives, and suddenly, days pass without meaningful connection. Even if you've always been independent, the silence can start to weigh heavy. It's not about bitterness, it's about honesty. After 80, very few people talk openly about how fragile friendships and human contact can become. The missed phone calls, the longer gaps between visits, the feeling of being forgotten. It all starts to settle in. But here's the truth: you are not alone in feeling this way. This quiet adjustment is more common than anyone admits. That's why staying emotionally connected, to yourself, to your story, to even 1 or 2 people, matters more than ever. When the crowd fades, the meaning found in a few deep connections becomes invaluable. 2. How small health issues turn into big ones. A runny nose, a bruised arm, a skipped meal, what once seemed minor now takes center stage. In your 80s, small health problems no longer stay small. A simple cold might drag on for weeks. A stumble that once ended with a laugh might now lead to hospitalization or physical therapy. Your body's resilience, the ability to bounce back quickly, quietly fades. And the margin for error becomes razor thin. This doesn't just affect your body, it affects your emotions. You might feel frustrated, betrayed even, by a body that once did what you asked without hesitation. If you've lived a life of independence and activity, this change can feel deeply personal. But here's the strength: awareness is power. When you pay close attention to your body's signals, you can adapt. Maybe that means resting more, drinking more water, or scheduling checkups more regularly. It's not about giving in. It's about preserving the strength you have left and respecting what your body still does for you every single day. 3. The quiet loss of visibility in social spaces. One of the hardest things to explain, yet one of the most common experiences after age 80, is the feeling of becoming invisible. You walk into a room and the energy doesn't shift the way it used to. You speak and someone talks over you, not out of rudeness but because they assume you're done. You share wisdom or stories from the past and they're brushed off or ignored. This is not about being disliked. It's about how society often stops listening to its elders. And it's incredibly isolating. It's as if your age speaks louder than your words. You've lived, loved, lost, you carry decades of hard-won experience. And yet, you're often passed over in favor of younger, louder voices. This change can stir up grief, sadness, and a quiet form of mourning. But understanding this reality doesn't mean accepting invisibility. It means choosing to reclaim your presence. Your voice still matters. The stories you hold are valuable. Don't shrink. Keep showing up. Speak your truth. Let your wisdom be the anchor that others didn't even know they needed. 4. The narrowing of your daily life. In your 80s, your world often doesn't collapse. It just quietly gets smaller. You might stop going to the store not because you don't want to, but because the trip feels longer. A walk around the block might now require a companion. Friends move. Favorite places close. Neighbors change. Bit by bit, the places, routines, and people that once defined your daily life begin to fade away. For fiercely independent people, this shrinking world can feel jarring. The loneliness doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in quietly, like a soft silence that grows heavier over time. What you're experiencing isn't weakness, it's grief. A kind of soft mourning for the life you once had. But here's a new truth: even as your old world shrinks, a new one can grow. Maybe it's a new friendship, a deeper bond with a grandchild, joining a virtual group, sharing your stories through letters or journaling. Life doesn't have to be wide to be rich, it just needs to stay meaningful. Call someone. Sit outside and feel the sun. Find small moments of joy. They still exist. Your world may have changed, but it is far from empty. 5. The unpredictability of your own body. Perhaps one of the most difficult and unsettling changes after 80 is how unreliable your body becomes. One day you feel strong. The next, exhausted for no clear reason. Some mornings your hands work fine. Others, you can't even grip your coffee cup without struggle. Your knees, your balance, your energy, none of it is as predictable as it once was. This unpredictability doesn't just affect your plans, it affects your confidence. You might hesitate to leave the house, unsure how your body will respond. You might question whether you'll be able to stand after kneeling or walk after sitting too long. That doubt, that unpredictability, creates a quiet fear that many never talk about. But here's the real takeaway: you can still be in control even if your body surprises you. Flexibility, patience, and preparation become your best tools. You can listen more closely to your body. You can adjust your routine. You can ask questions and advocate for yourself. No, your body may not be what it once was. But you, your awareness, your choices, your resilience, are still powerful. Final thoughts: you're not alone. These 5 realities may sound harsh, but they aren't meant to bring you down. They're here to shed light on truths most people avoid, yet many live through. Aging, especially after 80, isn't just about what fades. It's also about what remains. You are still wise. You are still valuable. You are still capable of deep connection, of laughter, of love, and of impact. You may not be seen as quickly, but when you are, your presence hits deeper. So what stood out to you most? Was it the shrinking social circle? The unpredictability of your body? Or the quiet way your world has shifted? Take a moment to reflect and then act. Call someone. Write your story. Move your body. Rest without guilt. Speak without apology. And remember, you are not walking through this alone. There are others, many others, facing these same changes, and your voice, your experience can lift them too.